Hello, and welcome to the Amuck podcast.
Hello and welcome back to the Amuck podcast, home of the best Bachelor in Paradise recaps on this side of Mexico. As always, I'm your host, David Stahl, and I'm joined alongside me, a full house today, by my loyal compadres, producer Gary and Carson Cooper, to break down the latest drama from our favorite franchise. Fellas, how's it going? It's good to be back.
It is going great.
Another 3-hour marathon episode.
I watched
in
it
the
this
books.
morning and I'm exhausted.
Oh my gosh. That's a day ruiner right there.
Holy smokes.
I had to split it up. I watched the last 20 minutes of it this morning, so it's fresh in my mind. Prom is fresh in my mind.
Well, it's a spicy 20 minutes to finish up with. Man.
No kidding.
Me and a little insight for the listeners, me and Coop met up for a run this morning, and you mentioned like, oh yeah, I stopped watching right before prom. Hold on, my guy. And I said, there's one moment, I think I said, with Aaron in particular,
and
you're going to watch and you're going to say,
did I miss something?
Did I miss an episode? Was there a commercial break that I went
perfectly
upstairs?
Explained. Yeah.
Out of, but slow down. We'll get there. Lots to cover. But before we jump in, we gotta do a little house cleaning, as is tradition. We're gonna ask the people, as always, rate, review, subscribe to the podcast. But you know what the most valuable thing that the listeners can do is? Do you guys want to guess?
Listen.
Listen? Well, yeah, okay, that's up. Yeah, you know what? I'll put that number one. Sure. I might. Hey, is calling them listeners? I maybe thought that was self-explanatory.
Okay.
However, that's fair. We don't
to
know.
Continue to listen is pretty important.
We can't make assumptions. Keep listening. Second most important thing, right below that, get someone else to listen. Tell a friend. Tell a family member. Tell your piano teacher. Anyone who is in Bachelor Nation, just send them over here. Again, you know exactly what it is. Bachelor content every day of the week, baby. And we're getting ready. I know we're we don't want to look too far ahead, but we got the finale next week. And then we're just jumping into more Bachelorette content, baby. It just keeps going.
It never ends.
So keep doing what you're doing. We appreciate it. Now let's jump into a bit of listener mail before we dive into this episode. I got to give a shout out to one of my favorite ladies on the sub list, Ruth Allen. Now, Ruth Allen is spectacular because she always leaves hilariously blunt feedback. Does not hold back on some of her scorching hot takes. We've been on the wrong end of some of that bluntness in the past, but I appreciate the honesty. She hits us this week with her take. Serena and Joe, strongest couple. But Riley and Marissa, sexiest couple. Agree or disagree?
Facts.
Agreed. Yeah, that's facts.
Yeah, Once whipped cream's being licked off a toe, I mean, how do you up the ante?
Certainly not by eating a taco off someone else.
No, sour cream was not the direction to go, for sure.
No, it's a wrong direction. Again, shout out to Alicia Duquette. She always leaves a ton of her thoughts, and we're always on the same page as her, so we really appreciate that support. Shout out to Lori Murray. I think we have actually, or Lori Marie, we've shouted her out before, but this week she subscribed and said that she wished she'd found us sooner. Lori, we wish we found you sooner. Great to have you on the program. And last one here, it's tough. I never know how to gauge these names. Just ABAB, keeping it simple, being economic with how many
Abab, baby.
Abab, baby. So Abab, just a real one. They always comment something funny, insightful, or just generally awesome. Honestly, one of my favorite subscribers. They always comment something with a lot of substance, and we love them. All right, guys, are you ready to jump into episode 9 this week?
Get it going.
Now, before we jump in, I don't know if you guys know, next week we're running it back with another 3 hours. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm aware of it this time.
So again, they mentioned it in passing, like it was not a big deal.
It's just is what it is.
It is what it is.
It
and
is
we're
what it
gonna
is.
sit down and they know. You could say, yep,
it's a
next
6-hour
week's
episode.
is a 24-hour stream, and it's just going to be John Paul Jones recapping the first 8 episodes you just watched. I'm like, damn it, okay, yeah, well, I'm in. Yeah, I'm gonna sit there for a full day and watch. Yes, they got us hook, line, and sinker, but me oh my, these things are a little bit of like it just. It's just so goddamn
The 2
long.
hours
and so
It's
back
bad.
just
to
so
back
long.
is honestly more doable, in my opinion.
Oh,
The
I
3
wish we
hours
could
is
go back
just
to the Monday, Tuesday.
so much.
Unfortunately, we got Matt James dancing his ass off on Tuesdays on Dancing with the Stars now, so we can't.
Taking up
No
our
room.
slot, bro.
Taking up our slot, my man. Maybe we should reach out to Dance with the Stars. Like, well, guys, I mean, we got a podcast to do, and it's just a lot. It's just a lot on me. If you guys wouldn't mind, maybe pushing to a Wednesday or a Thursday sort of deal.
Yeah,
We'll
our
reach out,
people will
see what
talk to
we can
their
do.
people and then see what we can
But
do.
we did have a bit of a cliffhanger last week with Aaron and Ivan. The big question that everyone was wondering about: would they smooch? Were they gonna kiss? It gets answered, not quite, but
Close.
hell yeah, they were
Close.
close. And you know what quote I loved? Like, it just got so immature too. It was just two dudes who did not want to fight and did not want to admit that they didn't want to fight.
Yeah.
And so they're both trying to get out of the situation with that. And so Aaron goes, it's really escalating. He goes, touch me, bro. Touch me. Straight up touch me. And Ivan goes, ew, you want me to touch you? Like,
That's the best. That's when you know a conversation or an argument is just going downhill. Like, it's just
you're not fighting
not getting
once you get to
anywhere.
that point. Once
Yeah.
you get to like a 6th grade,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
"Oh, you
Level
want me to touch
mentality,
you?"
yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes,
and when
all right.
Ivan said keep that same energy for the 45th time,
he starts just saying stuff that didn't make any sense.
Yeah, yeah.
He just kept saying like, "What you gonna do if I do?" And then Aaron says something. He just keeps going, "Keep that same energy. Keep that same energy." Like, what is that? What do you mean by that?
You better bring your best sports coat to the back alley. Wait, what? Sorry, what'd you say? I'm just saying, if you're gonna buy tickets to the Opera House, you better be ready to hear some singing, bro. Wait, what? Okay. The trash talk, it's kind of, that was not a strong thing on Katie's men's seasons. We'll say we've said that before. They weren't necessarily the sharpest bunch, but man, I honestly, I kind of didn't care about this whole thing. Like I was telling producer Gary before, like I have notes written down, but Becca was pretty much like, oh man, I don't even know who to believe. I think the only right answer is who cares? It just felt like it went on for so long. I did love the incriminating clip of Ivan blatantly lying, and then we see Chelsea confronting him later.
That's perfect. Like that part I enjoyed, but we didn't really need this as an episode cliffhanger from last week. It just didn't need to be dragged out like that.
That tends to happen a lot with this show, like which is fine.
They got to do something to,
and sometimes it's worth it. But we've gotten hit with a couple. We got the storm. We got hit with this sort of fight that turned into nothing. Shout out to James for being a true ride or die, though. Like, he literally thought that Aaron was so wrong, and he's like,
I know.
I'm gonna stand by. I'm gonna isolate myself completely on the beach now. Like,
same with Riley though. On the inverse, he's like, hey, if you're wrong, I'm gonna ride or die. It's the code, man. The bros got a code, and they're sticking to it, and I like that.
I couldn't agree more. And we'll jump into, really, Ivan's confession comes up next, because we head into the rose ceremony. Wells pulls him down, obviously. But is this, I mean, obviously, I suppose life could always be worse, but is this pretty much the worst possible outcome for Ivan this season? Because he came in as one of the most coveted men. He had a strong relationship with Jasenia before Chris came. Remember Chris? Anyone remember Chris?
I wish.
No.
Before Chris came, it looked like, I don't know, I thought they were one of the couples of paradise. That devolved. He tried to get something going with Kendall, and that didn't work out. It's just, is this the worst outcome that Ivan really could have feasibly had?
Well, probably, because like even just a conventional exit on the show, right? Like, no one's questioning that. No one's really batting an eye at it. Now, like, you go out looking like I don't even know what he really looks like in this situation. Like, I don't know how to paint Ivan in this light,
which is maybe the worst thing you can go out as a reality TV star. You either want to be a strong heel
for sure,
or the
and I'm just left kind of like confused and like, all right.
He's kind of like James 2.0. Like, in a sense, he keeps
wandering,
barely making it to the next week somehow, and
he's a paradise nomad.
He has way more game than James. Don't get me wrong, but
He does have way more games.
He's in the same boat. Yeah.
Well, hey.
Not anymore.
Not anymore, my guy. James isn't going anywhere. Oh,
we'll get to that later. We'll get to that later.
All right, let's dive into Ivan's confession. First of all, the first clip we see when it's roast ceremony time is Aaron go. I wrote down this quote. I don't know if you guys remember it, but he goes, Ivan's off his rocker, which is
love it.
Which is a fantastic. Now that's an all-time kiss. I'll give him that. If you're being told you're off your rocker, that one stings. It has a little bit.
That's up there with
truth.
like. That's up there with being like, oh, they're bonkers.
Yeah. That dude's nutso. Man, I also loved everyone trying to read the situation from afar. Like Wells takes him down, and they're talking about it, and all the girls are like, "Oh my God! Oh, he's moving his
hand gestures. What does that mean, fellas?
He's moving his mouth. Wait, I think his eyes he just blinked.
I think I mean,
that's how a conversation works.
Yeah.
It was so funny. And that's
I gotta say though, like that whole, Wells pulling him aside thing. Like I get it. Makes good for good TV, but why was it framed as if he killed someone?
It's because they wanted us to think he hooked up with Chelsea. And
why was Wells interrogating him like he murdered someone on the cast?
When he first went down, he's like, "Hey Ivan, you got anything to tell me, man?" It's like a teacher confronting a student. Yeah. Like it's like.
And then the best part is he goes, "Listen, we're laying out all our cards. Like pretty much like we know what you did. So you admit right now what you did.
We just want it on TV. On air. You saying it, yeah." Ivan, Alicia was supposed to come down to the beach. Yeah. Then why do I see her body washing up on the shore right now in a burlap sack? Ivan, Alicia. Tell me that right now. First of all, Alicia, just hit her up on Instagram, dude. I don't think you have a lot of saturated DMs to work through. I don't know if anyone do me and Alicia have the same amount of clout? I should look up her followers. I'm sure she grew a little bit last night.
Was her name not Alexa?
I don't know, man.
I'm positive, me, dude. I'm almost positive it was Alexa.
Sure, could be fucking Beatrice for all I know. I don't know. No, I did look her up. I kind of remember her, but all of Peter's season is just a disgusting fever dream. Like I just want to forget that whole thing. Yeah. But man, to me though, at least this was Wells's first hosting debut. Because hey, he's a former contestant. But you gotta be able to lay down the law, to be tough. You can't just be their friends. And again, I don't even know if we're allowed to say his name, but he pulled out shades of what Chris Harrison did so well, of making people think that he was their friend while really being a part of the show. Wells is, he's there to support them, but he's more in line with production than he is.
He's still loyal to the show.
Beach.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's loyal to. He's loyal to that dosh. Yeah, but I don't know. I thought he really, really played it well. Kind of the perfect mix.
Can you just imagine real quick if Lil Jon was hosting that week?
If Lil Jon was having that conversation.
I can't even picture that in my head. That would have been so bad. But he probably was there, and we're like, "You can't have this combo.
You can't go down there."
Yeah, they were probably ready to send him back, and then they realized, like, "Oh shit! All right, Lil, are you ready?"
Mr. Jon, are you ready?
Mr. Jon, please call me Lil. Mr. Jon is my father. Now let's I don't know. Let's dive into. Let me put on my tinfoil hat and dive into David's conspiracy corner, because I was telling you this morning, Coop, some don't make sense here. Something's not adding up. So you're telling me that a producer left their phone out with the room number of the contestants open?
Yeah.
What are we talking about? So I don't know if Ivan, and I doubt this, I don't know if Ivan stole a phone. What I think is far more likely is he was borderline given that information.
Like, how fake of a story did that sound? Like,
and Wells was like, "Wait, sorry, so you stole a phone?" And he's like, "No, it was just
there.
I just glanced at it."
It's like, I wasn't looking for it. It's like, What do you mean? It was just in your room, like
you happen to glance at a producer's phone and manage to see a whole room number. Like I simply nothing about that makes sense, especially when all of the contestants are now in the hotel. There's probably a bunch of names and room numbers on it, right? There's not just like the two
Noah's
people.
Side of the story. He's just like, I went to sleep, man.
I went.
I was sleeping.
Shout out to Noah for being
Ride or
a real
die.
one, though, He goes, no, I went to sleep and didn't see him since. Went to bed right at 6 o'clock, like I do every night after reading 2 chapters of my book and some sleepy time tea. Okay, well, fair enough. Your story checks out. Dude, I mean, also Noah, if you interrogated that guy for 3 seconds, he's gonna crack.
Cracked. Yeah.
Not really someone who I don't know. I wouldn't call him a rock, certainly. But we'll get into that a bit later. But I don't know. Someone commented, and first of all, I got to remind people, I love the feedback. We got to remind people, this is a no spoilers channel. We almost flirted with it last week. Someone told us it's a nothing situation. I think they actually did spoil it. I didn't read the whole thing though. They said, oh, it's a nothing situation, the whole Ivan thing. But it kind of was a nothing situation. Like I get that he had to apologize, but like they didn't know each other before. So naturally, yes, I get he has to leave the show. I understand that. I don't think he should be villainized. Like
no, I don't think so either. That's what I meant. Like all jokes aside about why we acting like he killed somebody. Like sure, obviously you can't do that on the show. That's pretty blatant. Everybody knows that. Even without signing a contract, you'd know. That's probably a big no-no. But like, I don't know. There's acts that have occurred on the beach that I'd much more be willing to villainize those people over Ivan, and like maybe producers should be speaking to those people.
Yeah.
Like
totally
air it out like that, right?
Oh, totally. I the only big law is like Chelsea and Ivan, like those friend groups hang out all the time. Well, that's gonna be weird. Like, so you literally just like made out with me to the point of getting to another girl. But again, people do that all the time. If you don't have a prearranged thing, if you don't know this person beforehand, that's kind of paradise. That's kind of what paradise is, and we'll get into that a little bit later because I think a little bit this season people are starting to forget. This is paradise. This is like you are in the belly of the beast, and people are going to be able to kind of, I don't know, swindle you a little bit or use you to get to another week. Yeah, that's kind of what the show is. But 2 people that took it way more seriously than they should have. I love him. I love him to death. But Riley, what a great guy. But
at the end, though, when he's saying his goodbye,
we're supposed to be better than this, dude. You, me, Noah. I was like, Noah, what are we? What? And Noah's behind me, like, wait, sorry, you're saying I have to be better than this?
He's like, I'm not gonna lie, man, I'm a little disappointed in you right now. And then Ivan's just like full beta mode. Yep, I'm like really disappointed in myself too. Yeah, like really disappointed, dude.
He made Riley his father. I wanted Riley to be my dad after that, but he straight up became Riley's son in that moment. He was like, trust me, Dad. I'll never be as disappointed, or you'll never be as disappointed as I am in myself right now. Oh, dear Lord. Okay. And then as Ivan's going to the car, he goes, well, this is just something that I'm gonna have to live with for the rest of my life.
He's like, bro,
what?
But like, I feel like Riley's someone who very much like prides himself on his reputation and the way he carries himself amongst his peers, and like he's like the guy was getting in Aaron's face over this dude, right? And like turns out that he kind of put it all on the line to defend Ivan, and turns out he was
kind of made him into a fool. Yeah. But I like to think that I would. You like to think you're the same way. It's like, okay, I will, if I have to look like a fool to stand up for one of my friends, fair enough. That's kind of the price of being a friend, unless it's something like crazy serious. But something like that, it's like, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. And he kind of got burned. But then we jump into the rose ceremony. Noah has once again added 8 more dog collars around his neck. This dude, where is he getting these chains?
One last button. Like,
Little John left all his stuff there by accident. He's like,
Little John, baby. More like someone from the Babylon.
Deep cut.
I think he had all the chains on the whole time, but he just undoes a button every week, so you just get to see more.
So there's a bunch of more more talent there.
Man, he looks like in a word, bad. He looks like, dude, he looks weathered.
Not to jump ahead, but he was kind of looking like a combination of like Joe Dirt and like Pablo Escobar, like a really bad combination.
At prom?
Yeah, at prom.
He looked like absolute dog shit. I thought he looked horrible, dude. Oh my God. Because he tried to gel his hair back, but it's kind of like maybe too short or just non-compliant, and so it was sticking out in all these gelled tufts.
I think wrong product. I think it was just styled poorly.
Yeah. Do you think it was Elmer's white glue? Is that
I think it was whatever
like
James
it wasn't
uses.
Hair product. Oh yeah,
he took out of James's overnight bag.
Tar that they used to pave the Mexican streets, and then. We get Chelsea she ends up giving her rose, obviously out of default, to Aaron, because we just saw Ivan leave. Do you guys remember what she says? Did you guys write down happen to note what she says to Aaron when she gives him the rose? I loved it. And this is a line we do hear a decent amount on the show that is never a compliment, and people always think it is. She goes, for whatever reason, I just keep gravitating towards you. It's like,
now, yeah.
For whatever reason, you can't even name one reason. You don't have a single reason. You can't even be like, it's because you got that fun little tattoo behind your ear. Like, you can't just make
Ivan
one
just
up.
left. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
for whatever reason, that reason being default.
Tia last week, no? She was like, hey, I'm going to give you, or was it this week? She was
this
like,
week.
I'm going to give you the rose, even though that crazy shit went down with Blake, you know, but here you are. She's like, no compliment at all. Nothing, like, just nothing.
That was the only other couple I had written down, Gary, to comment on, because first of all, though, she doesn't even skip a beat in giving it to James. That was quick, very quick. But then she words it, and it's tough to gauge, because then she definitely acts like she cares later. But it was almost worded like, hey, you're a good guy. I want to see you find love here, not necessarily with me.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's what it sounded like. I was like, is this a friendship rose?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
And then very much as we see, like, as that week then progressed, she seemed a bit upset about James's future explorations.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Now, so we do get the official announcement. I think we all saw this coming on the promos that Wells is the guest host this week. I thought that was fun. Yeah. He even changed his shirt. He put on a fun beach shirt, changed out of his bar outfit, and ran down and met them there. To me, first of all, we had some I can't believe we had people disagree on our video that Wells should be host. I like to respect all viewpoints, but I will never agree with someone saying that Wells isn't right to be host of the show.
I mean, he's the only deserving person.
He just navigates everything so well. And to me, this moment, I feel like was his official coronation. I feel like this was them being like, okay, the guest hosts were fun. And I think we all agree we wouldn't mind seeing them again next year. But I think this was basically them saying it's Wells.
Well, I think on Paradise especially, celebrity guest host is fine. But I feel like in the regular, like, Bachelor, Bachelorette,
there should be some consistency.
You want someone that's going to be, maybe Wells doesn't do the female seasons, but I think you could throw him in on the Bachelor every time, just keep him coming back. But I did like Tayshia on the Bachelorette, so, maybe we'll stick with that. Maybe that'll be going forward. That'll be what it is.
Maybe we'll see. I'm very curious. Again, I don't know if you guys saw. We'll talk about it quickly. But the Bachelor host has been selected. Jesse Palmer.
Really?
Monday Morning Quarterback. He's hosted a million different shows, and personable guy. He was the Bachelor on season 5. And fellas, you won't remember this because I didn't watch that season. None of us were watching that season. But on his season, I saw in the promo, I'll have to look into it more, but it said on the promo that there was a spy for him in the house. So there were a bunch of contestants, and then I think one of the girls was there to like give him intel on what was going on in the house.
Whoa.
Yeah, and so now they've obviously pivoted the show where it's more like it's just relationship geared and romantically geared, and they don't want to make it like more of a game. Mm-hmm. But holy shit, how electric would that be to bring back?
Crazy.
I
bring
think
back
I want to
Crazy.
see it back immediately.
I almost want a Mrs. Doubtfire situation where Jesse Palmer is the
He's
spy.
the-
I'm just saying.
That would be
ABC
amazing.
producers.
Quick costume changes going back and forth. Has to be 2 places at once.
He's doing like the classic where he runs out as Jesse Palmer, but he's still wearing the wig.
I would say always forgets part of the costume.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
happens when the spy gets a rose, though? How does that work?
Well, that's the thing.
They're
I think you got to
sick or
keep
something
putting her
like
through.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
You gotta
how
keep-
does that work? How does that happen?
I don't know. I got to go back and watch the season, the whole thing, just to answer that question.
I mean in the Mrs. Doubtfire situation.
Yeah.
You have
No,
to-
I
does
don't
that
know.
work?
Okay, we're getting nowhere. No one cares about our weird hypothetical of
I
Jesse
think they do.
Palmer acting like the spy in The Bachelor.
I bet you people are laughing right now.
Yeah, I bet. 2. All right, let's dive into boy, I don't know, we haven't gone off the rails that much in a while. It felt good. Kenny and Mari kind of are on a rocky little place there, and we'll get back to them once we have the what was it, Bruja, correct?
I don't ask me.
Witch.
For-
We're gonna
yeah,
say
witch.
witch. I don't
The
want to
witch,
offend
yeah.
anyone. Yeah,
Priestess. Official term.
priestess.
Yeah.
Is that actually the official
That's
term,
what
or
Mari
are we
said.
just
Mari said,
jumping on a distinction? Okay.
Mari said Mexican priestess. That's what her words exactly.
She also said witch, did she not?
She did.
Yeah, okay.
So we can go with
They're
that
one and
way.
the same.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. I wonder if you have to get 2 different degrees or if you can merge one into the other, like there's an accelerant program to go from witch to priestess. I'm curious. But look, I don't mean to be constantly biased because Kenny's our guy, but I feel like it was the right approach to look. If Mari's, she's tough to read, and if you're already feeling like her passion is starting to dwindle, well, you're like what, a month in, 2 months in, like whatever it is, you're very early on. Well, okay, maybe it is time to recalibrate. It feels like they've lived through 6 different relationships
Yeah.
on this show so far. I mean, it's just like they're certainly not the strongest. They're probably not the sexiest after that taco incident. I don't know. We're obviously rooting for them because we've never been more personally invested in a Bachelor relationship. But I don't know. What are your thoughts? We can get more into the whole like obviously they make their peace later, but what are your thoughts on them going into the finale?
I don't know. I think they're a bit stronger than what we were led to lead on this episode. Like I don't think that, like, I know Kenny was kind of worried about like that passion dwindling a little bit, but like at the same time, like I also don't think one session with the witch is gonna like just all of a sudden reignite that. So I don't think that it was like like I said, as bad as it was played off to be.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, you gotta shake up those strong couples somehow.
Sure,
with an
yeah.
edit, right? Yeah. And speaking of shaking up couples, we get Anna's arrival.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. Well, first of all, surprise, another person who's done a ton of work on themselves. Another person who's gone through a bunch of therapy. If you're listening, Carson's pulling out his patented Anna face where he grinds his teeth as if he were trying to saw them down into a powder. She comes back. She's really doing the face almost immediately. Whatever. I'm ready to give people a single chance. I will say the show is single-handedly supporting the therapists all over America. But Anna and James, did they not? She ends up talking to a few people. She's getting rejected. She's getting essentially what McKenna gets to the nth degree next time. But she's chatting with a bunch of people. She ends up going with James. Initially a very weird couple, honestly, like so weird that it felt like 2 names were drawn out of a hat from just everyone in Bachelor Nation, like Anna and James. All right, throw them on a date and have them become human churros. Like it just felt so random. But I don't know. I the only thing I had written down from the date was James, my man James, in all caps in italics.
So excited
That's
for
the
James.
most David note ever. So
Just
all
no
your notes on this
context.
show look like, James, my
They
man
get the job
James.
done. They lead me in the right direction of
Sure.
what mood I felt in
That's
the
fair.
moment.
They're the 2 of them for me. They're kind of a nothing couple. I do have a couple insights on the date itself, though. One, hey, Bachelor Nation, let's get away from these gross, revolting food dates. Let's just get away from it. This one was a little more tolerable than the
I was
sour
gonna say, I
cream.
thought the sweet was better
The
than
sweet was better, but again, we are rolling around in sugar, and like what are we doing? Like Like,
I'm a bit of a germaphobe. These are just
we're at
not
the bottom
for
of
me.
we're at the bottom of the barrel of date options at this point of the season.
I think it was
Also,
on purpose because it was James's first date. He's the only one who didn't get a date the whole time.
Yeah,
and they were
so
like,
the game just a
"Fuck
garbage
you,
date.
You're getting the worst date of all time."
And then
it was
hold
a
on.
spite.
Forget. Okay, so if I'm going in for a massage, okay, I think I'm getting a massage, and I have to roll around in cinnamon sugar, whatever. Okay, you got me. But then if you tell me, no, we are still gonna give you the massage, and I go and I lay on a table, and the lady who made the tacos the other week brings out a
oh, come on, it wasn't Chef Diana. I don't know if that was her name. I'm not.
Brings out two I don't know what kind of snakes they were.
I
Big
think
snakes.
anacondas.
What the hell?
Maybe
like,
a python.
I was gonna say python. They just crawl on your back. Like, what is that? That's not a massage. That's the same as goat yoga.
Massage. Just a little logistically, there's no way that felt anything other than weight on your back.
He actually got shafted. So thanks for reminding me, Gary, because he got shafted more than I think he got shafted.
The double shaft.
The double shaft.
Which is tough pill to swallow. Yeah, mixing metaphors in a dangerous way. But obviously it's an unfortunate date. We do get reminded that this man is a literal Hulk. Like
he's massive.
He's almost too big of a boy.
Too big.
He's just enormous. But we talked this morning, Coop.
Yes, I was just gonna bring that up actually.
They're in the hot tub. And goddamn, did his hair look good once we got some of that product.
We got some of that product out, and it took some chlorine to get it out. It took some heavy duty
an hour and a half,
and some chocolate syrup, and enough sweat from that snake to slick it right out. It melted off. He when it's not like pressed against his head like a Lego block, it's really it's not bad. It has some volume there. It looked like a nice head of hair.
He's got a great head of hair.
Yeah.
He's got a great head of hair. And one of our listeners, Brendan Scanzano, who we interviewed from Katie's season, he was doing a Q&A. And one of our listeners actually asked him, like, why the hell does James keep doing that to his hair? And they sent us the response because he answered it and he goes, ladies, you just got to trust us that we know what we're doing with our hair. Look, Brendan, you got great hair. This man does not know what he's doing with his hair. He doesn't. I know. Look, it's okay. I know better than him at what he needs to do with his hair. That whatever was in that hot tub, you need to do that. He looked amazing. They're kissing up a storm. Fine, whatever. It honestly, it kind of seemed like two people that didn't really have someone, and they were like, you're hot enough. Like, you're still hot. You're not who I wanted.
We'll have a good time, but
hot. Yeah. Dude. He seems fascinating, though. He's talking about his life in Tokyo. He's talking about he was born in London.
And like, you know what's crazy is that we've seen this guy for so long, and we know nothing about him.
Yeah,
nothing about him.
Nothing.
He's He's in the mob now. He's working in tech in California. Like this guy's fascinating.
I thought she was straight up lying. She's like, "Wow, you've had such a fascinating life." I'm like, "You're talking about James, right?
Same guy, right?
Same guy that we've seen for 25 weeks in a row and know zero things about him. He got in a box. That's all I know about him. Bro,
you're talking about the guy who looks like the Michelin Man on steroids, right? You're talking about that guy? No, I mean, and then we get, oh boy, if we felt bad for Anna having to scramble. Oh man, we get McKenna. Painful to watch. Tough look for Canada. Holy smokes. I really do feel bad for anyone who comes in this late. You just don't, especially on a season with so many couples, you just don't really stand a chance. She doesn't know anyone either. I think Marissa was the only one from her season.
Yeah.
And Marissa got sent home night one. So they don't know each other at all. In my memory, maybe you guys disagree. In my memory, she was a big crier on Peter's season.
Yes.
Big time crier. But
yes.
This time was justified. I was watching, I was like, you would feel so isolated, so defeated. Like, are you literally just gonna be like, well, I'll just go home? I've thought about that before. Do you just go home?
Well, she contemplated that at some point. Like, I mean, ultimately, like, if you go there and you're especially like you're 1 week out and every single person's hitched up and like, from what we can see, pretty seriously hitched up, not just like, you know, Anna and James kind of hitched up. What do you do? You're obviously not gonna like pry yourself into a relationship. Like it's just if it's
just
not
for the
there,
sake of staying, you're trying to ruin someone's relationship.
Who knows how long she's like been sitting in a hotel waiting? Like I don't know what time these like or what
weeks,
right?
I think they come in all at the same time.
And that's what I was thinking too. So she had to quarantine for 2 weeks and then just hang out like offset
Just
for
wait.
weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks
Heartbreaking.
to contemplate leaving 10 minutes after you get there.
Yeah. And
Yeah, it's gonna be tough.
But
then
a certain knight in shining armor comes down.
Ed.
Our king, we love. Oh god damn, we love you, Ed. First of all, and we love him to death. But Barstool Trent was tweeting last night that he was the first person on the Ed train. Excuse me? Hey, my man, I'm a big fan, and therefore I've been following you. You were actually, not only were you not on the Ed train, you were anti-Ed when he was on his season. Anti-Ed, and I don't even need to say it. That's us, right, Gary?
Oh,
I mean, come on now.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not close. We've been Ed since day one. We got fucking video proof. But, however, he pulls out one of the great quotes. He's trying to convince McKenna to come on the date. I don't know, Coop, it sounds like you're remembering this part. He goes, I mean, you've got... it kind of sounds like one of our former teachers, but no one else is going to get him. I mean, like, why would you leave? You got waves, you got paradise. You got waves, you got paradise, baby. And that's what pulled her. She was like, "Oh, I do got waves." And
Ed really has a way with words. He was really selling himself. A lot of like, what else are you gonna do? Like, what else you?
So he's gotten every date in his life.
I wasn't looking for you. You weren't really looking for me, but
yeah, really hitting her with the romance.
Yeah.
I don't want to go with you. You don't want to go with me.
Let's
we
do it.
both
want to go home
tonight. Yeah.
So
you want to go home?
Like, what's one more night? If it sucks, you can leave. And
that's a man.
Yeah,
that's a man who has had to convince a few women to go on a date with him that were reluctant. That's a man who knows his way around a reluctant woman who wants to just go home. And yeah, I mean, they go on a date. Also, the worst cheers of all time when they do their little rollerblading date. They're back at the table. First of all, weird date, but they were just rollerblading around a hotel.
Kind of weird.
Kind of weird. Kind of low budget.
Still better than James's date.
They spent all the money on the anaconda. That was on the pythons. That was the issue. But he goes, cheers to rollerblading, and then almost falling down and then not falling. My man, that's not a cheers. Cheers to rollerblading and then almost falling down and then not falling. How about like cheers to unexpected beginnings? Like just say anything that's not that. But we still love him. And then we get Natasha though. This is tough. But however, you can't blame Ed for taking it. You cannot. I get she's had a hard time, but I just didn't like the words of like, he played me. What are we talking about?
I don't think he was. Like he didn't play. You were played earlier, but not by Ed.
Yeah. Why is he responsible for having to date you the whole time? Like, come on. I love Natasha. I'm a huge fan. I don't want this to turn into the Connor B dynamic of like everything that doesn't go your way is now a tragedy. Like, no, you went on one date, you gave him your rose because the other option, just you didn't have a connection at all with that person. So I didn't like that. However, look, she's been put through the ringer. I get it's just pure frustration. I don't know if you guys noticed this. She didn't end up going to prom, obviously, right? Yeah. And I saw online, I guess she was supposedly sick. I mean, no, she just was obvious. Well, maybe she was sick, but I think it was more so like, fuck this. I'm not going to prom and being by myself. I've done this whole time. Like, Ed is clearly going with McKenna, etc. Like, I get it. It's tough for her. Hopefully she comes back next season. And I think what they do is they would bring someone in who specifically says, Natasha's my number one. And have them come right away. Yeah. But then we jump into, I mean, Kenny and Mari. We can run through it quick. I don't know if you have any thoughts on the witch and priestess. But Thomas really acting like an authority on the subject, eh?
Why was he so knowledgeable? Well, he wasn't really. He just kept saying.
Can we get the source vetted before we let him mansplain for 40 minutes? I'm like, oh my gosh, this
is really good for them. Like this,
they never do this. They never do house calls. Yeah, you normally have to.
I've been on the waiting list for 7 years and they still haven't showed up.
Like the producers really splurged for this one.
Yeah. Oh my god. They got Henrietta. Oh guys, you have no idea. You have no idea.
Deep in the witch game.
She's saying
she's kind of underground.
Also, are we a lot of people don't know about her yet. Also, are we just pretending that this witch stumbled onto the beach and she had a calling towards them? Like, it was not like the producers brought her down.
Yeah, she's like walks up to them at the bar.
Are Murray and Kenny here? And everyone's like, oh my god, like, where'd she come from? Like, they brought her down. You've been here for a month now, right? You understand, like, none of the dates that you've planned for your significant other have been planned by you. So it's probably the same people that helped you bring balloons and chocolate covered strawberries down. That being said, very glad to see them on the same page. I don't mean to also invalidate the process. It looked like it worked for them well. The woman seemed very knowledgeable, competent. They seem to be in a good place. I don't know if you guys had any other thoughts.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what I was thinking.
I don't know. I think they touched on some good stuff though. They were like, take your past relationships and like forget it, like get rid of them. Let step out of your own way basically, and like just focus on your relationship. Mm-hmm. I think what they were focusing on was good, and I think it might help them. But yeah, like you were saying earlier, if Kenny's not into it right now, I think. Honestly, I don't think they're gonna get married after this. I don't see it happening.
I'm not gonna spoil anything, but I have. Well, actually, if you go back and watch the preview, it actually spoils it for you.
Well, I missed it, so.
Well, that's all I'll say. Now I won't spoil anything. However, what I will say is that I think for Kenny, it's more honestly, like I believe what he said, but I think it is more a worry of Mari being cold and. Like being reserved with herself. We had someone this week call her a flip-flopper. I don't know if I'd go that far, but she's just tough to read. She can close herself off. And I think Kenny's like, well, okay, what's the deal? Like, you already did this once and we got totally derailed.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it again. Right. So, but I do have faith. So, fellas, let's jump into Paradise Prom. Man, oh man. First of all, the girls could not have been more excited. The guys predictably couldn't really give a shit about the prom aspect, but some of them got into it, did the promposals. Also, Anna calls what she and James have. Did you hear that? She called it a relationship. She goes, yeah, I'm really excited about this relationship.
Whoa.
Someone's got the prom feels right now.
Someone's got too much sugar in their ears.
As they say. Man, that girl crazy. She got way too much sugar in her ears. Now,
that girl must have got bit by a python. That girl done got bit by a python.
See, coming out of anyone else,
she'd be acting bonkers.
Bad, but if Riley said that shit, I'd be on board.
Then I'd be on board.
I'd be on board 100%.
Oh man, dude. On the bright side, I honestly think. Tell me if I'm wrong. I honestly think, because I know he was worried about the tailoring. That was a very real thing. He apparently did not think any of the suits would fit him. I thought James may have had the fit of the night. I thought the earring
100%.
worked really well. Yeah. And then the half white, half black 80s look, I thought it looked fucking awesome. He looked like a kind of a supervillain.
He did. There were some heinous outfits out there, but his was very, very nice.
Like an OG, like penguin inspired.
Yeah,
exactly.
Half face, but also penguin. Two face. The combo.
I felt bad for Tia. I did write that down, and then okay, we'll get there. We'll get there. I also love Chelsea calling out Aaron for hanging out with James more than
her,
which is like we've seen it all season. I would love to see a live feed, like just extra footage of how much time they've wasted hanging out together and like ignoring the people that they should have been fighting for
sure.
But let's jump into it. Aaron and Tia,
what?
Excusez-moi. So, I've never been more confused about a hookup in my life.
As David and I, or as David mentioned earlier, we went on a nice little run this morning. And, I said to him, I was a little upset about how everyone was, early on in the episode was ganging up on Aaron about the whole Ivan thing. And I was like, oh, like I'm Team Aaron. He goes, whew, you keep that same energy, David, pretty much said to me.
Man.
And What the hell was that?
What the flipping heck is going
What
on,
was
dude?
that, Aaron?
They hooked up in the hotel.
Well, okay. Here, I think a huge part of it. I was trying to make sense of it. So, where did this come from? I honestly think they got prom fever because the way that they were making. I think they were drunk. First of all, I think they were drunk. Second of all, I think that they were just in that sort of prom mentality. Like they were all over each other. They looked like a couple of 15-year-olds. Tia had her leg.
It looked like high school dance mentality.
Very much so. Like it took me back to just like, well, first of all, also like the weird dynamic to me was like she was just with James last week. Like that's Aaron's boy, right? So I'm confused as to where that partnership came from. But to me, honestly, I don't mean this in a very suspect way, but a little bit of a dick move for Aaron to move in on Tia when she's very clearly in a very emotionally vulnerable position, right? She's feeling very lonely. She's feeling isolated. And that's when you go for her. She's been around for a while, dude. But at the same time, Chelsea being mad, like I get it's your prom, but I think people are starting to forget. That's paradise, baby. That's paradise. What are we talking about? Like, I think everyone is kind of coupled. Like, Natasha's being like, oh, how is Ed doing this? Oh, come on now. He went on one date, got one rose. Like, if we go back a couple seasons of paradise, like, this is the norm.
Well, that's exactly. Yeah, I think this season we've kind of grown accustomed to these somewhat strong or pretty strong pairings kind of all the way through where we don't see a lot of this. And when it does happen, it becomes like the drama of the season up to that point, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if you look back at past seasons, that's what paradise is. That's like every week on Paradise typically, and you have your one or your two couples that are pretty strong the whole way through. This season's a little different. It's just a little backwards in that sense, right?
And that's the vibe everyone's getting. Like, you know what I mean? When you're looking around, people are coupled up. You don't want to be that odd one out. You don't want to be slow dancing to the show's theme song all by yourself, right? So it's tough. And then of course Joe and Serena, naturally, they get named prom king and prom queen.
Of course.
I think most beautiful scene maybe of the season. I mean, first of all, look, Serena, gorgeous, beautiful woman. However, Joe stole the show there. The way he looked, his little hair poofing down with that crown. He's got the sash. He's got the pink suit with the black collar. Oh my God. What a hunk.
Yeah.
When he snuck up on me, you going, oh yeah, grocery store, schlubby Joe. Because I didn't watch his season nor his first season of Paradise. So this is my introduction to Joe, really. And so he started off like, I thought he was just going to walk into the water and let Poseidon take him at the beginning of the season. And now look at him now, from literal rags to riches.
Yep.
I mean, he's still earlier that day he was walking around like he's still playing Survivor. Like he's got the headband on still.
He was.
Really like he did make the big jump, but I don't think the jump was as big as you think it is.
No, he's a man of the people.
Just cleaned up a little bit.
Yeah, he's a king. Yeah. He's a king that can relate to the commoners.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's a leader.
That's a true
leader.
Who I get
that's
behind. A lovable man. Yeah. I mean, he wasn't writing his promposal with gold-covered rose petals. No, he's right into the dirt like a working man. Yeah, just right in the earth like a true man of the wild. But yeah, that was a beautiful image. And then we get Noah and Abigail most likely to come into Paradise. I mean, first of all, nope. Second of all, let me see the votes. Let me see those votes.
There's no way. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Get a poll. I want everyone to say who they voted for out loud because that is not true.
It definitely went to Joe and Serena.
100%.
Without a doubt. And they were like, well, they're getting prom king and prom queen. So
So let's stir up and preface what's about to happen.
Oh man. But okay, so we get Noah. Basically, we get a absolute classic Paradise dynamic that we've gotten 18 to 19 times this season. We've gotten a million times in seasons past, where the one person's like, oh my God, I can't wait to tell him I love him. We're in such a good place, blah, blah, blah. And the other person's like, yeah,
it's
time
over.
to break up. It's over. It's donezo. And so we get Noah, who we didn't talk about this. They have a brief conversation on what do you call those little day beds? It starts with a P. Paluas.
Sure.
Is that what they're called?
I heard someone say it this episode, but I
Oompa Loompas?
Oompa Loompas.
Yes.
Yeah. So they're on the Oompa Loompa and they're trying. Noah's in his current, like he's in his natural state, which is liquefied, and he's just like just lying there like this, and Abigail has her head on his chest, and they're talking, and blah, 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 I'm falling in love with you, blah, blah, blah. People forget, I'm not making a joke whatsoever, this girl's part, like she's deaf, right? So we should probably maybe, like when you're telling her I'm falling in love with her, maybe let's try to make some eye contact.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty big step in your relationship. You maybe want to like sit up.
Yeah.
Speak up. Like,
yeah,
buddy, why are we acting like we just woke up from a nap? Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like, that is not the way you say, and I honestly believe her, where she said, I didn't hear it. And he thinks she's just tuned her out. Clearly that is just a microcosm of their bad communication. Like if you can't even say that you're falling in love with a girl and her realize it, well, then you probably have some bigger communication issues to work through generally. And also he goes, look, I am falling in love with her. Or I think he said, like, I am in love with her, whatever. I find that distinction so arbitrary. Like, telling someone you're falling in love with them is such a, like, weird...
I'm falling in love. I'm not in love
I'm not there yet. It's such a weird, like, well, I never told you I was in love with you.
Yeah.
Like, so what are you trying to, like, hold on to this little... why is that the hill you got dying? But anyways, he says, I'm falling in love with you. And he goes, but I have this deeper feeling of intuition. Well, then you're not in love, dude. Because that's fine. That's good that your intuition is taking over. But if you're in love with someone, that should be the deepest emotion. It should be like, I'm really in love with someone, but my reasoning is a little stronger.
Yeah, and you know how else I also know he wasn't really in love with her? It's because the next day, which is the day that he eventually breaks up, or ends up breaking up with her, when she's now ready to have that conversation, you're 1 day removed, right?
24 hours, man.
24 hours removed. And she's ready to have that conversation. She's about to tell you how she feels. And you can't reciprocate those feelings now, all of a sudden?
Come on now.
Yeah, it's over.
Like, what do you mean?
Ship sailed, apparently.
Like, yeah, dude. You don't fall out like that. Yeah. And you want to know what I think happened, honestly. I think, and this is no fault of his own, it's the nature of the beast. I think he looked around, saw a bunch of other couples, and I think he got caught up in the show. I think it was just like, hey, this is what I'm supposed to say. Not even consciously, but I think he did get caught up in that whirlwind romance. I'm like, well, the next step is this, or else we're done. It's kind of one or the other. Sure. And he said something that he wasn't ready to say. However, my man, have you, A, never broken up with someone, B, never been broken up with, or C, never witnessed a breakup in television, in society before? Yep. You're not supposed to tell the person 500 times that they're not your person. You can't say I'm in love with you and then can't tell them you're not my person.
So, like,
have some graciousness.
And then she calls him out on saying, like, and I get he's all wrapped up in like what he's saying. I get that. But then she like very blatantly just says, well, yesterday you told me you're falling in love with me. So like, so you made that up then, or you're a liar. And he goes, well, I'm not a liar. I meant everything I said. Well, you legitimately cannot mean everything you said if you're claiming she's not your person. You just can't.
I couldn't agree more. And like, I've seen people on the internet taking Noah's side, but okay, so let me say this. Like, look, Abigail, she seemed a little closed off. Yes, I get that. I'm looking at this particular situation in a bubble. I get there were other things. I get Abigail was closed off at times. She's not communicative. She does, in my opinion, get in her own way a lot of the time in relationships. Like, I think, again, with Matt, okay, he's got 30 women to juggle. Maybe you got to really push the relationship forward with communication. I think it was the same thing with Noah. It's like, okay, he's having a little bit of trouble. You got to make a big leap. And she's not, to me, a big leaper. However, I don't know, Gary, I'm very interested on your thoughts. I'm in this situation, I'm Team Abigail. You can't say you love someone and then 24 hours know that they're not your person. Then you didn't mean it. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm definitely Team Abigail in this situation. I feel like it's hard to be on Noah's side. I don't know why so many people are jumping on his side. I get in the big picture of things. You can be on his side a little bit, but
this episode
is just like so bad for him. But I think they both got caught up in like they both seem like people that aren't trying to chase around like other relationships. Like when new people came down the stairs, they both had no interest the whole time. Really so they just kind of like they're like, well, we might as well just like hang out then, I guess, and we'll just, you know, ride out the show. And then I feel like it was inevitable, but I feel like Noah really fucked this one up, and he could have at least heard her out a little, like a little bit. Like I just don't know where it came from, but hey,
no, I totally agree.
Honestly, better now than in an episode, I guess, right? Like it was gonna happen regardless, right?
Absolutely.
So,
and it looks like we're gonna have a spicy finale. I mean, we do end at prom, correct? Coop, you saw it most recently. We end still at prom, right? So we have to figure out this whole Tia, Chelsea, Aaron thing. I honestly, bye to all three of you. You don't matter anymore. Like, we really got to start cutting people. Anna, James, I'm glad you had a real romantic moment, James. Bye-bye. We'll see you when you're the Bachelor. Ed, McKenna, Natasha, peace. Like, this is a 6-man race now, right? 3 couples, 6 people. No, I'm being unfair. 8. Come on now. 8. Thomas and Becca.
Thomas
man.
And Becca are, I think they're made for each other. I think
Loki very
I think
solid.
They might be made for each other. Yeah.
Now, I'm not gonna I would almost guarantee that they don't get engaged, but I think they leave the show and no spoilers, people, because I know there are spoilers floating around about them. I think they're gonna end up still dating. Like, I really do like everything I've seen from them. Also, Thomas was very, very adamant with all the women who came in. Anna and McKenna being like, I'm taken. And he did that previously with other women coming in earlier. Like, I'm taken, which is awesome. I love to see it. All right, and we'll see. It sounds like a spot. We don't need to get too into the previews, but it looks spicy. I'm hitting. I'm gonna save one thing that I'm sure you both want to bring up from the preview. I know, Gary, I don't think you saw it, but I'm gonna save one for my thorn. And Coop, I'm sure if you looked at it, you know exactly what it's gonna be.
I think I know what it is. I did see part of the preview.
Actually what my thorn is too.
Okay.
You might be stealing my thorn, dude.
No, whatever. You'll be going first. I got other ones written down. Okay. Let's jump into roses and thorns. Let's start with thorns. Coop, you go ahead.
I mean, is it? What is bringing Kendall on set?
Dude, it's fucking Kendall, man. Of course it's Kendall. What are we talking about, dude?
Like leave this guy alone.
Leave him alone. Honestly,
oh my God.
I know some people wanted to be the Bachelorette. I really haven't seen her. I didn't see her season of The Bachelor. I didn't see her on Paradise. She seems nice, but
what are we doing to Joe right now?
Get out of here. Oh, this is so embarrassing. Do you not understand how you look? I know the producers are saying, like, no, Joe's been talking about you a lot in the confessionals.
For sure they are.
Joe still seems broken up. But you've been on this show twice before. You gotta know how it works. You're a fool.
Just ruins their day. Like, they're about to have their moment. Like,
if
they get engaged. That's
what Serena is crying over. I'm not a cyberbully, but I might take it up. I might no, I won't. But I might have our intern do it. It's just like, get out of here. Yeah. Oh my God. I don't think Serena is crying over that. I honestly think it's going to be nothing. I think she's going to walk up to Joe. Joe's going to be like, bye again. Bye. And then he might just not even tell Serena about it. Like, because it's nothing. It's nothing. It's like getting stung by a bee, or you're like, oh, sorry, I can't. A bee just kind of stung me on the leg. I can't propose, right? It's just a nothing issue. But yeah, great thorn. Gary, what you got?
I'm going to give mine to Noah, just overall. Just kind of, flip-flopping and then looking like shit at the same time. Kind of a bad vibe,
All right, fair enough. Yeah. Nice and simple. Sorry, Coop, did you have anything else to say on the whole Kendall matter, by the way?
No, that was it. Yep.
Beautiful. Gary, I had you guys kind of both took mine. I didn't have Noah specifically, but my second one was Noah's prom aesthetic. I honestly thought, like, I couldn't even take him seriously with that whole bad. Like, he may have been making a perfectly salient case, but I was just totally out because they looked like shit, dude. Like, come on, my man. Everyone else was dressed to the nines. This guy couldn't even get his hair right. Oh my God. When your hair looks worse than James's, I mean, what are we doing, dude? Jeez. But I'll go another one. I'm gonna go just McKenna's predicament, man. That is such a nightmare. You can't control when you come. I'm not like a huge fan of her, but you can't control when you come on the show. Can't control who's in a relationship. That was so tough to see.
It's
her
even
in that
worse
position.
if she didn't really know anyone either. Like, imagine
she has no friends.
Yeah, you're just like,
yeah.
okay.
Imagine it, like, look, if it's like Chelsea, who has a bunch of friends and
worst case scenario, you can hang out with your friends for a little bit, right? Like,
yeah, or at least they go like, oh, yeah, what a shitty situation. No one there really cares, right? Well, they did, but it's all like pity. It's not actual like sort of compassion from your friends. So yeah, tough to see her. Okay, let's jump into our roses. Let's start with you, Coop. What's going on?
My rose is gonna go to the band at prom.
You know
what? I was pleased when everyone was walking in. They were playing some tunes. They didn't get a shout out. Yeah, they were playing some tunes. And then they played the Bachelor Paradise.
You guys missed it.
Did they? I don't think I heard it. Oh, they did. Yes. Yeah. Wells did give them a shout out.
That's their name? The Black Sheep?
Yeah.
The Black Sheep.
I feel like that might be taken. I don't know.
It might be.
By them.
I don't know. By them.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Maybe I'm wrong.
Those are the Black Sheep.
A more famous. Yeah, there's multiple
Those
sheep.
are them.
Fair enough.
I'll give them to my rose.
Yeah, they did a great job. Probably the best band we've seen in a few seasons.
Best musical performance we've seen in a while.
Yeah. Great one. Gary, what you got?
I'm going to give my rose to James. We're finally getting that date. Potentially, maybe
vindication.
Sneaking through the last episode. Yeah, he's not making it to Fanny Suites. I promise you that. But
James is not having sex on the show.
From day one all the way to the last day. I don't know how he did it.
He made it to prom, baby.
But he fucking did it.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
That's the goal. Just need to make it to prom.
Let's fucking go, James. Good shit.
That's a great
can't
one.
Can't wait till you're the Bachelor, man. Can't wait. Looking forward to
it. You took mine, Gary. It was obviously James, without a doubt, obviously. However, I will pivot and I'll give you two more because I cheat every week. But first one's going to Wells. She just crushed it. He crushed being the bad cop, crushed being the good cop. He made some jokes at prom, which I thought landed very well. He just killed it. It's top to bottom. Love him. And then second one, we just talked about him. Thomas and Becca. Sneaky solid couple. I like them a lot. Thomas, we used to be Thomas haters. I'm just in on him. Sometimes you get a bad edit. Honestly, like the more I see of Aaron, the more I go, yeah, Aaron probably wouldn't like me very much either. Sounds like it's probably pretty tough to get along with that dude. It's hilarious as he is. And as much as we get along with his friend from the program, I don't know. I'm in on Thomas. I'm in on him and Becca. That being said, that lends us right into our final segment, couple of the episode to close us out, fellas. Let's start with you, Coop.
My couple of the episode is going to Abby and Noah, just for that absolute implosion at the end. So they drew the excitement this episode, although it's not in a positive light.
Yeah,
nonetheless, they're getting my vote.
Well, that's the way it's framed,
that's
baby. In whatever way, yeah, exactly. All right, there we go. They caught the spotlight. Gary, what you got?
I'm gonna give it to Joe-Rena. My favorite couple.
Ooh, Joe-Rena.
The strongest couple. They're just the best. I actually stumbled upon a YouTube channel called Joe-Rena Moments. And it's just Joe and Serena moments uploaded to YouTube.
Sounds like the longevity of their content is about to take a dip. But yeah, pretty limited. However, I'm gonna check them out. I hope they got some mad montages.
So maybe I like Joe.
Yeah. Maybe with Home from what's that orchestra? That classic song is really like real slow. I want a nice romantic montage with that behind. And if it's not there, I will request it. That's a great one. I was gonna go James and Anna.
Jamana.
Actually, I guess you went with Jana. I guess you went with Serena and Joe. So I'm going to go with James and Anna. Oh, that hot tub, it was steamy. I'm going to go actually James and Anna specifically when James's hair was fixed.
Different James.
Yeah, a whole new man. Yeah.
Different character skin. Yeah.
Wet hair James. yeah, unlocked at level
James.
9. Yeah. Spectacular. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. What a wild, wild ride of an episode. One more, baby. We can't wait.
To go.
Remember, rate, review, subscribe. And the second most important thing, what is it, guys?
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends. And what's the first Most important thing.
Listen. Keep listening.
Just keep listening. Just keep doing what you're doing. It's that easy,
listening.
baby. Just keep doing what you're doing. You're doing it right now. All you gotta do is not do anything. So thank you guys so much. We appreciate it. Can't wait for next week. Producer Gary, remember,
A wet bird never flies at night.
thank you and peace.